Oh, so this is what a book is. Ah, fuck this. Let's just watch some movies.
So I guess the first movie we're going to watch is this, The Instructor, starring Bob Saul, coach of the U.S. AAU karate team. It's a pretty good, look at that. The action never stops in this stunt-packed karate extravaganza of a black belt instructor who proves that his talents and expertise can be used to defend instead of destroy. The instructor runs a local karate school and tries to impart to his students a sense of dignity along with the intricacies of the sport. When he is threatened by a rival school's owner, he puts his teachings into action through spectacular car chases.
That's not an exciting shot.
for a car chase scene? Yeah.
It's like rule number 1. Going away from the camera is more exciting than coming towards it. Always.
Teaching into action with car chases?
So that's a whole new form
The car
of
chases
karate.
in the school?
I guess so.
I hope so.
Through spectacular car chases and gripping hand-to-hand battles, he tracks, pursues, and corners his adversary. And that's it. He just corners him, and then he just walks away. And then the rest is left to your imagination.
Sounds dusty.
My velour tracks.
It's ruined.
It weighs
It's
100
ruined.
pounds.
Oh, yeah. You can see both of them struggling.
That's the only reason he was caught.
His arms of water like a sponge.
These bell bottoms are adding another 80 pounds.
Get that son of a bitch!
Oh, punch you right in the belly!
I was pregnant.
Well, Rich, our next movie is Through Dead Eyes, starring James Doohan. Who, you might ask? Why, it's Star Trek Scotty.
Oh, I wouldn't have known that.
Not many people would. And look, it's autographed by James Doohan, presumably before they shot him into space after he died.
You know, seeing that autograph, it just makes me think of the awkward moment that happened when. Here's James Doohan, right? He's 85 years old, and he's signing autographs at like a table at a Star Trek convention, wondering where his life went wrong.
And then this.
And then some asshole walks up with Through Dead Eyes and says, "Can you sign this?" And it's just like,
oh, that's where it went wrong.
that's how it all ended for James Doohan.
Ah, well.
Those are the last days of his life. James Doohan, Scotty from Star Trek,
Oh.
in case we forgot from the front of the box, stars in this thrilling horror/murder mystery about an old, unsolved string of murders and a psychic who can see how and when people will die. A police detective hunts a serial killer whose only victims are women. Turning to a psychic to help solve the crime, he discovers she is tortured by her power to see through people who will soon die. You know, I don't have to touch your vagina, right?
Touch it there!
Together, they are determined to catch the killer. He also seeks assistance from a retired detective, Doohan,
Oh, God.
who sits on a couch in one room and bangs out all of his scenes within 5
It
minutes.
doesn't say that.
No, but it should.
There is a picture on the back of him sitting in a couch.
There's very specifically him sitting in a couch, and it's an action scene because he's holding a gun.
So do you-
But he's still sitting in his recliner.
So they get people to buy this. They
Through the
entice
power
you.
of James Doohan.
But you'd think if they're going to lure you in with James Doohan, you shouldn't have to explain who he is. What does that say about him?
Oh boy. Yeah, it says some more stuff on the back, but who really cares?
Yeah.
Right?
He's going to be sitting on the
Right?
couch.
It says some stuff. I can't wait to watch this.
Do you think the dead eyes are going to be his?
Well, he's only got one dead eye. maybe he loses the other one in the movie.
He's called Dead Eyes.
He's so slumped over.
I gotta walk.
When will you know?
Why is he standing behind the table? He's like,
He had to like wedge himself back there.
how's he gonna get out?
Can you move your table? I gotta get out now.
God, there's so many TVs.
Hi, Mike. How you doing?
Good, James. That second film we watched sure was something else.
Yeah. What do you want to watch next?
Oh yes. Well, I discovered this CD case that contains a film that
It looks mysterious.
it's been printed on a home DVD printer.
Okay.
So this either traveled from the early 2000s into the future.
So someone can afford printer ink.
Yes, it
So
is a
this person is wealthy.
printable DVD.
Oh.
It traveled through time.
Right.
It either traveled through time or it is a Neil Breen film.
Whoa. Neil Breen, that sounds like a sandwich spread.
It is both a sandwich spread and a man. A filmmaker from Las Vegas, Nevada, named Neil Breen, who's made other films apparently.
Yeah, I've heard filmmaking's a real gamble.
So this is the new Neil Breen film. We've done 2 of his films before on Best of the Worst. This is Twisted Pair.
Right.
Copyright 2018. There's no box.
There's no artwork. It's mysterious.
He could not be bothered to make a case for this
Right.
when he self-distributed it on a printable, burnable DVD-R.
Yeah, I wonder if we'll be able to make a case for whether the movie is good or not.
Oh, it's fading in.
Oh no!
There they are.
No.
My performance will be groundbreaking.
Why is he frozen? Oh.
So they could fade in.
Oh.
Oh my God! One of them's a giant.
Yeah.
See, Kale's shirt opens on the left, and Kate's opens on the right.
Yeah, why are they wearing the same clothes?
The twins, Mike.
Even after being abducted by aliens, they got on the same jeans.
He's growing.
Look at it! Yeah, look at his
He's
feet.
growing.
The aliens gave him clothes.
The final time I saw Kale broke my heart. Although we were now humanoids, I still felt a bond and love for him as my brother.
Oh my God.
Faster.
Hey, faster.
Faster, more intense.
We need to watch this whole movie at 1.5 times speed.
Yeah, I could.
Suddenly it's really good. So nice to be in Hawaii.
Yeah, you know,
So sunny.
It's we're all festive.
I didn't think it was going to be such a dry heat.
You know, I'd take charge, but that just feels morally wrong, like on the end of the table.
No, it's fine.
Good thing they're
Well,
on
I'm gonna
good thing
take
they're on the
charge
back.
because I may lose my voice at some point during this discussion, and then if I don't have to explain a movie, then I'll just sit here and nod for the rest of the video.
You'd always ADR it really awkwardly afterwards.
That's true. Yeah. We'll just dub my voice over. I'll remember what I thought I
Neil
wanted to
Breen.
say.
Yeah. Just
Paging Mr. Herman. Paging Mr. Herman.
Paging Mr. Herman.
Paging Mr. Herman. Mr. Herman, you have a telephone call at the front desk.
Our first movie is The Instructor. And Colin, you brought this down like 2 years ago or something.
I think so. Yeah.
You gave it to us, and then we just shoved it in the corner.
Yep. I saw a screening of this in Toronto in an actual movie theater with people.
Not a film print, though.
Not a film print. I don't even know if this exists on film, but this is the only copy I could get.
It barely exists on DVD. It's like a VHS rip, and it's trying to kill itself as the video goes along.
It should be a very simple story. It's just a story about...
Should it?
Well, it is. Technically,
Is it?
It's just about two rival karate schools.
It's basically Cobra Kai.
Yeah.
Sure, just with more car chases and awkward fight scenes.
When you say it like that, it's like, okay, I get what that is. When you actually watch the movie, it is one of the most confusing things I've ever seen. Like, none of us knew what the hell was going on.
Yeah.
Who characters were.
No, there's our hero. There's Bert Pesci.
This guy, he looks like a tiny Burt Reynolds. Like, with a fake Burt Reynolds wig.
It's the love child of Burt Reynolds and Joe Pesci.
At the time of filming, both these guys are like 23. That's a long shot.
They just left the camera on. They're running back to get it. Let's use that.
It's like if you just sawed off Burt Reynolds' head, like you just took a fucking saw to it and just stuck it directly on Joe Pesci's torso. This is what you'd have.
That's our lead character.
Or Charles Manson with an afro and a karate suit.
Although I've never seen Joe Pesci run, so I don't know how accurate this guy's running is to Joe Pesci's, but...
It's pretty good.
It's Burt Reynolds running in Joe Pesci's body.
Okay, so
he's
slightly
not
awkward.
He's not quite used to that body.
Okay.
So this kind of has like a backstory. It's almost like Miami Connection, like behind the scenes. This guy, Don Bendel, owned this karate school, and he's still...
In real life.
In real life. He's still a karate instructor today. He's got a big karate school.
Oh.
And... I guess decided he wanted to make a movie, and I guess like all of his students are the stars of this film. He's actually in the film, but he's not the lead actor.
It feels like the Burt Pesci should be the guy.
The writer,
it feels like it's his vanity project, so it's surprising that it's not.
Usually when your action hero is the guy who should not be your action hero,
yes,
it's an ego vanity project.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you're the director and you're not the lead, you would think that the person you're going to pick would be like the kind of like muscular, handsome guy, not the 5 foot tall guy with a snap-on afro.
Fisher Price adventure people body.
Yeah, it looks like his hair. So this movie opens and it's him and the director jogging, and it's obvious that it's a wig. It couldn't look more like a wig.
Well, the idea, we looked it up on IMDb, the opening of the movie was a reshoot that was done several years later. Because most of the movie, like his hair looks stupid and weird, but it's really his hair.
It looks natural, yeah.
But that opening scene, it's so clearly a wig.
It's like Chubby Checker's hair.
Right,
It's like like tape on afro
painted
wig.
Foam. It reminds me of like a big boom microphone hood.
Sounds like that woman's being raped.
What?
That
woman's being... Wait, what? The ninja's just... What? What the fuck just happened?
And apparently, in a scene that we just didn't get, Dom DeLuise Ninja is forced upon the female gang member.
Right.
Because we're like, is he raping her? What is happening? We had no idea what was going on.
Yeah, this is a very, very confusing scene.
Well, don't our heroes say he's raping her?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they jump in to save the girl.
But I think she pulled him down onto her.
I was just walking home, and these guys from this gang just grabbed me, pulled me right in the center, and they put me on top of that girl, and I didn't even know her. My mom knew that. She would crack up, man. Who the hell are you?
We do eventually find out that he really is a creep, so I'm assuming he was lying about that. But I have no evidence to back this theory up. It is just a theory.
When do we find out he's... Oh, yeah, I forgot the whole movie. I just remembered that he beats somebody to death with a trophy.
Oh, God.
We see them for 4 seconds. And then,
oh God!
And then we get into a scene that has nothing to do with anything else that ever happens in the film.
Yeah, and this looks like some gang out of like Escape from New York.
Yeah,
like this whole scene is like something they're fighting.
They got trash can lids. We were calling them the garbage pail kids.
Yeah,
that's their gang name.
That's their gang name.
It's got that 80s, like the wardrobe is all sort of like bad 80s apocalyptic sci-fi almost.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
Oh, slowly walk towards his kick.
Get this son of a bitch!
What the fuck? Wait, who?
Come on, you! What do you think you're doing? Get him!
And this is the reshoot, and it just makes the movie so much more confusing because this is happening, and then
With lots of pickup shots of people saying, "Get him!"
That's it! Tear him up! Get this son of a bitch!
And you don't
all
see
the
that
shots are
person
so
at all.
disconnected from each other.
Yeah.
But you need a giant, large action scene to open your movie with.
Even if you don't know what's happening or who anybody is.
What?
He's using his shoes.
He didn't have to because the guy didn't get anywhere near him with that thing.
He's catching shiny stars in his shoes.
Oh my god!
Everybody get him now!
They're just standing there.
They're just standing in a
This is
circle.
amazing. Get him! Like that scene in Last Jedi.
It's like the throne room.
They're waiting.
But that cliche of like, yeah, there's a group of, gang guys in an action movie that are coming after our hero, but they come after him one at a time. Usually you just see, the bad guy like run into frame. Here we're getting like overhead shots of evereverybody just standing
around.
there.
They're at the deli and they have their number. And they're waiting for their number to be called.
Number 22. Kicking the balls.
It very much seems like moves that aren't designed to be like Hollywood-style kung fu moves.
True.
It seems like they're doing moves you would teach to like a woman for self-defense purposes because half of their moves involve grabbing somebody's balls.
A lot of ball grabbing.
There's so many ball hits in this movie.
That's true.
This movie should have been called Twisted Pair.
The moves are very competent. The camera work is just shoddy.
It's very
but the editing is interesting. So that kick off the motorcycle is like, and then the guy gets knocked off.
It's like Liam Neeson trying to jump over a fence.
Oh yeah, with like 20 edits.
Yeah. It's a 1 second sequence, and there's like 25 edits.
We teach 3 private lessons. Right. They have to determine your attention span, basic balance, and coordination. At the end of that time, our chief instructor will evaluate him, and we will design programs specifically for
What am I supposed to be getting out of this scene?
It's like 3 different things going on. A very sterile phone call. Erotic karate posing. And a bookshelf. Love alive. Our brains have to process this and a Neil Breen movie.
Oh my god.
Yeah, can we talk about that? That's my favorite scene in the movie is the awkward, boring Joel phone conversation while sexy karate is happening in the background.
So
and I think he's supposed to be like, ooh, she's doing sexy karate. But he's just drolly talking on the phone about like, yeah, we're open,
We can
8 p.m.
I think that's supposed to be a contrast though. Like he's trying to have the business call, but he's distracted.
No, we don't teach kung fu. We teach karate.
I think he's talking to a kid's parent because he's like, no, don't go to that level yet. Like, they need to learn this first.
Says we teach karate, not kung fu.
It's all so weird. And then because we're seeing him, and then there's a mirror in the foreground, so we see her in the reflection of the mirror.
She's doing
but she's just like in like an empty void. Yeah. Like the lighting is so bad, it looks like she's just floating in space.
I'll see you tomorrow.
Good night.
So this leads in, he takes off and then leaves her still at the studio or the dojo, and then the rival gang break in.
We think? Is it ever explained that they're from the rival gang?
Yes, I think so. I don't
Our
know.
hero assumes that because the rival gang guy said something like, I'm gonna get you, one of those types of things.
They break in, and then you're thinking, oh god, this is gonna be a rape scene because it's from the 80s.
Then she kicks their asses.
She handles herself really well.
She kicks their asses.
Yeah.
The important thing is he tracks the perpetrator down after the cops have already surrounded the perpetrator.
Yes.
And so then he shoves one of the cops out of the way.
I think he kicks the
so
cop.
He kicks the cop out of the way so he can kick this guy's ass.
The cops are just gonna let him do this?
Did he kick a cop? And the police don't do anything about it.
They all just stand there watching with their guns drawn. And that disco is great too because the table and chairs that are in there, it looks like a mall food court.
Yeah, that's right.
And then the art on the walls makes it look like a roller rink, but I guess it's a disco.
Oh God, I wanna say this. Everything is ugly.
Yeah.
Like literally every piece of clothing, every hairstyle, every
person,
bit of fashion, every wall decoration, every bit of architecture, everything is disgustingly ugly.
Every mustache.
Yeah.
And it's
So many
it's
mustaches.
also just lit horribly too. It's just like a big spotlight behind the camera.
Yeah, you could
Yeah.
have this, like some weird remaster of this where it's like remastered in 4K and you'd watch it again and just be like, ew.
What is this? Who's in the wheelchair? What is happening? Is that his wife now?
I guess this is his wife.
Is it worth wondering?
Why isn't the wife dying the catalyst for the revenge fuel? I'm gonna kick everybody.
We find out the lead character's wife was murdered, and we keep
Oh,
having
God.
flashbacks to that. So is it implied that the rival school guy was responsible?
No,
for...
it
That is
never
not
is.
implied.
It's never implied.
So it's just
No,
a random
it's
murder.
just a thing. It's just the background for this character that doesn't pay off in any way. Well, first we flash back to him discovering his wife's dead body,
Right.
and then we flash back after that to them like frolicking on horses, which is like, no, you do the reverse of that.
Yeah.
We have to see them together, and then he discovers her dead. And you put this at the beginning of the movie instead of just randomly dropping it somewhere in the middle of the
Yeah.
film.
Or just don't have it
with
at
no
all.
rhyme or reason.
It doesn't factor into the plot at all.
He's got a kind of vengeful spirit about him because he goes after that one guy.
He probably just has a Napoleon complex, right?
Possibly.
I'm pissed off that I'm so tiny.
Well, Jay, you would know.
I'm pissed off that I'm so tiny.
Don't use that cutaway.
Or use the cutaway and add sound. Not one or the other.
So after a few like fights,
We kind of end up at this karate competition.
yeah, so someone
The
he
big
wins.
karate competition that we haven't been building towards and hasn't really been mentioned. I don't think.
It's just a thing that's happening.
Yeah, Frank Zappa, Donald Sutherland.
The director.
Yeah, wins the trophy. He catches the creepy Dom DeLuise guy with his trophy, and he's like, "What are you doing?"
I'll mangle you, you turd.
I mean, it's a very like believable like murder scene.
Especially when they cut to him laying on the ground after Dom DeLuise has fled.
Yeah,
and
he's
he has
covered in blood and he's dead.
nothing on his face or head at all.
You didn't let us down. Wait a minute.
Now we got the People's Court theme playing.
He doesn't assume it was Dom DeLuise.
No.
Dom DeLuise did it. The rival karate guy had nothing to do with this.
Yeah, and
he instantly goes after the rival karate
He
guy.
gets in his Corvette with one other student and sets out to find this guy, and then goes to a barbecue.
All right, Shank. One time only. Where's Hart?
Hart? Who?
What the fuck? Where are we?
He just went to some random barbecue.
Hey, it's Jack Tripper.
Who?
It's like
What the fuck is happening?
These I'm assuming these are the evil karate
These are the
guys.
evil karate guys.
They're all just hanging out on someone's porch?
Yes.
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 Running is so funny. Threw a beer bottle on him.
His tiny legs have to move so much faster than a normal person.
Kick him into the water.
Oh, he's getting into the water, definitely.
Yeah, that's production value. Wet clothes.
Oh, don't fight on that shaky dock.
There's just some good old boys sitting out on the porch.
They might have had something to do with it.
I just sure they're here.
Let's go to the park.
He beats the shit out of everybody, and then one of the guys just happens to have nunchucks at the barbecue.
Let's go get more revenge.
What?
Come knock on the door.
That's a total Jack Tripper.
He just drove off?
Bert Pesci just leaves in the middle of the fight. Like, the nunchuck fight is still going on. He's like, I'm going to get my car and leave.
I think this was around the point in the movie where I started to realize that the post-apocalyptic gang from the beginning of the movie just was never coming back.
Yeah.
This is like the entire second half of the movie.
Jesus
which is the
Christ.
best part.
It's the most epic car chase.
This is insane.
Oh my God! What? Not the fruit stand.
You know, there's the occasional like mini ramp, which is hidden by
Those
a
are
big
very
hedge,
exciting.
where it's just
Or like a fruit like booth, just like in the middle of a field.
That's made out of cardboard.
Cardboard and like crash it.
boxes.
Like it goes on and escalates.
But one of my favorite parts about that is when they get to the big city and you can just see masses of people on the corners watching the film shoot.
Yeah. Well, it has that feel like it was shot in Ohio.
Yeah.
Somewhere middle of
Akron,
Ohio.
Akron, Ohio.
Yeah. You see Akron, you see like Cuyahoga Karate School or something.
Yeah.
So different areas of Ohio.
But
And it has that kind
like
of.
they put a lot of effort into the environments and things like that,
Well,
just in terms of shooting and shooting time. But
yeah.
it just ends up like garbage.
Well, I was going to say it feels like that kind of like the small town, like all bands together, like, hey, we're going to
Yeah,
make a
let's
movie.
make a movie.
And
Yeah.
But
that was
then-
probably in the front page of the newspaper several times.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like local karate school.
Local
makes-
filmmakers have car chase through the middle of town.
Oh, God,
they
we
drove
gotta-
35 miles an hour.
Big Hollywood production.
It's the most exciting thing to happen in Ohio since that river caught on fire.
Jesus. On the DVD itself, it says shot on location entirely shot on location in LA.
In Los Angeles.
It does? It is not shot in L.A.
Yeah, it's just like Jon Favreau's Jungle Book.
Where was it? Filmed entirely on location in Los Angeles.
Well, that's a
That is a
bold-faced lie.
I can
stinking lie.
explain this because the footage looks like shit, right?
Yeah.
So they filmed the movie in Akron, Ohio, and then they put it on like a VHS tape. They flew that to LA. They put it on a TV, and then they filmed the TV in LA. So the whole movie was shot in LA.
That's brilliant.
Whoa! Holy shit!
Oh my God, it's flying.
Holy shit!
Fuck! Oh, they ruined that vet.
What a waste.
Oh no, he's just gonna run away.
Just gonna
on foot.
run away. Good thing his mustache protected him from from head trauma. It's like his afro.
Get off of that bike!
Just stealing motorcycles now.
He's got
Ooh,
this,
look at that old school
He's got
Arby's.
this baby blue velour like lounge suit on, and he's got like a karate suit and an afro. And they're on motorbikes. What did they crash the cars and then they run and find these guys? They kick people off motorcycles and then
Oh, yeah, and then it keeps going.
We're into a motorcycle chase, and they are driving so slow at points. Like
The one that's chasing the other could have just gotten off his motorcycle and just ran up to him.
The Bert Pesci guy is constantly wiping out on the bike, like he can't control it. But
He just
I mean, I don't
sucks.
know who could if you're not a stunt driver and driving a motorcycle through water.
Oh my God!
Oh, be careful! You're fucking drowned.
they're chasing each other through a waterfall. They like end up in the Antarctic.
Whoa. Hit the camera. He's so funny.
Like driving past polar bears.
He fell over again.
Oh, they both fell over.
Oh, okay.
The bad guy should really just say, "Why are you chasing
Why are you
me?"
chasing me?
Let's discuss this.
Why?
This is kind of romantic, though. Like there's
Give me your hand!
He hits velour tracksuit guy, and then I guess he falls off a cliff, It's really, it's the most awkward edit in the world because he hits him.
No, isn't he like holding out his hand?
You guys are missing the chainsaw fight.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
Wait, he's got a chainsaw.
Oh, he's got a chainsaw! Holy shit!
It's just running.
Oh, shit.
It's just running in the background.
I mean, no, you saw smoke from
Yeah,
it,
holy shit.
Crazy.
These guys are fucking nuts.
Oh my God!
It's like the end of Mandy.
Well, we thought it was like a fake chainsaw.
It flies out of his hand at one point and hits the ground, and you can see the smoke and everything.
Yeah.
And then there's an axe on the ground.
Oh
Why is all
my
these
God!
shit? Why is all this shit in the woods? Guess he's gonna find a gun.
They're like really going at it.
Oh, I guess he fell on the top.
Screw you.
Yay! I fell on my keys.
We didn't even have a little moment.
That was so awkward.
He probably actually died. He threw him off
They just worked that into the movie as an excuse.
This is the distributor's like, here's another 10,000. Kill someone.
Well, he does end up going to jail, so maybe the rest of the movie is just a documentary. I don't know.
Can I say I love that he goes to jail? There's so many movies where the movie's over and I'm wondering, how the hell did this not end in like a 5-year-long legal battle?
Yeah, there's no consequences usually.
Like every movie where a ghost kills somebody, who's getting the blame for those murders? Like when you just tell the cops it was the ghost?
It's like,
no, it was the pumpkin demon, officer. You're coming with me. Your friends are all dead. You're the only survivor. Yeah, come on.
What happened?
Well, $500 fine, suspended sentence.
What?
What did he say?
$500 fine and a suspended sentence.
For killing a man?
and the children are applauding.
Grand theft, 2 counts of grand theft auto and 1 count of manslaughter. That's just $500.
$500. Yeah, so it's a big celebration, no smoking. And then Donald Sutherland shows up again, and he's not
thought
dead.
he was dead,
He's
yeah.
got like a neck brace and like I don't know,
An
he's all
arm
messed
cast.
up.
It's very comical. He's like O.J. Simpson in The Naked Gun, where he's just like just keeps getting injured.
I just really wanted them to all light up cigarettes, including the kids, and just.
And then the whole building just explodes, because why not?
Yeah. Which is why the no smoking sign was put there in the first place.
Yeah.
Flammable karate school.
That was the alternate title for the film.
Flammable Karate School.
Flammable Karate School. I want to make that movie now.
It's next to the Turpentine Factory.
For the first time in my life, I'm not full of fear. 'Cause I know I can trust you.
For a karate school instructor this is probably the first and last film he ever made.
Well, he killed a guy on set. Of course it's the last movie he ever made.
It'll be the first and last wig he ever wears.
That's probably not true.
I love like she pulls her face away and she's wearing his mustache.
Why is this shot so far away?
God.
I mean, I'm
Then
glad
they
it
kiss
is.
again and she pulls away. She's wearing his hair.
Our next film is Through Dead Eyes, starring Star Trek's James Doohan.
Scotty from
Star Trek. That's the whole thing, is starring Star Trek's James Doohan, a.k.a. Scotty from Star Trek. That's the full credit.
Yeah.
Rich, explain Through Dead Eyes.
Yeah. Through Dead Eyes, as obvious from the cover here, stars James Doohan, Star Trek Scotty.
Yeah.
And he plays a guy who shows up twice in the film.
He plays guy in chair.
They filmed him at home on his easy chair. Our actual star, who looks like several different people.
Yeah. Bruce Campbell.
David Tennant.
And Matthew Perry.
Yeah. With no talent.
My friend is dead.
Well, he's a terrible actor, and the character is a terrible, terrible person, as we'll soon find out. Because he has to team up with a psychic to stop a string of serial killings against her will.
A blind psychic.
A blind psychic.
This is an order from Chief of Police Earl Frapp. It says that I'm to bring you in for questioning.
This is a movie about a detective who takes a blind psychic, he kidnaps her, brings her to his apartment, won't let her leave for days until she agrees to help him.
Handcuffs her and gags her and leaves her laying on the floor of his apartment.
And then they fall in love. She gets Stockholm syndrome.
He yells at her.
I will stop it. Why won't you help me?
He emotionally abuses her.
He's very demanding.
Oh, he lies to her. He says he's going to take her to the police station.
No! You're so damn frightened. You're so damn scared.
Instead, he takes her to the morgue
to make her touch a corpse.
So he can force her to touch a dead body.
Yeah, come in with me, you blind woman! You're gonna touch that corpse!
Yeah, come with me, I'm gonna make you touch that corpse! Do it! Do it!
That's a little like a morgue. She's having a stroke.
What's happening? She's being choked. She's experiencing the death.
Yeah, I get it. Ow, my boobs.
Oh my God!
This is embarrassing.
My clairvoyance tells me she was killed.
She's clairvoyant and she also does charades.
You've been strangled.
Well, that's her whole thing is, she can touch someone and then she has visions of
how they died.
Of how they died or whatever, so yeah.
Meanwhile, there's a killer loose that is terrorizing the town.
Yeah.
And, she keeps having, like, visions of this killer. We also get to see the killer who's coming up, and the killer's trademark is crushing someone's throat, choking them to death.
He's unnaturally strong.
Obviously, the killer is a man.
A woman is too weak.
A woman is too weak.
The movie makes it very clear women have no strength.
All four were strangled by a male believed to be very strong. Their throats were crushed. That takes better than average hand strength, and it rules out a woman as the killer.
The one thing we know for absolutely sure is that our killer has to be a man.
Yeah.
We know it's a man.
With an eye patch, no less.
Well, yeah, the killer's wearing. It's very. I don't know who this guy. I looked him up. He only directed this one movie, but I think he's influenced by like Dario Argento, Italian giallo stuff. Because the killer has the black gloves, which is a staple of those. Some of the death scenes are very stylized. Like the lighting gets colorful and weird, and then he's wearing the killer, who's definitely a man, is wearing a mask with an eye patch on it, and James Doohan is also wearing an eye patch. So there's that connection.
That's never explained why he has an eye patch.
Because red herring.
Because red herring, because
why he's wearing James
Doohan has an eye patch.
It's because his face is a mask.
No, it's not a mask.
Are you saying it's not really James Doohan? It's somebody in a James Doohan mask?
It's actually George Takei.
Just put a James Doohan mask on. It's James Doohan.
We need someone more famous. Like James Doohan.
Oh, God.
There's been another killing like before.
But so what? I'm retired.
Oh my God.
He's so bad.
There was such a long pause.
He had to remember his line.
Our detective, he goes to visit him because
he was the detective
he was the
on
original.
the case 8 years ago. The killings have started again now.
Yeah, he never caught the killer, and the newspaper made a point of mocking him horribly and calling him a failure.
In the newspaper article, there's a picture of James Doohan, which is a promotional picture from Star Trek. And it says, distinguished career ends in failure.
Yeah. And James Doohan in this movie, he's amazing. He gives the performance of a lifetime.
His first scene is so embarrassing.
It's so bad.
Leave us alone. My wife is upstairs and she has a weak heart. And for God's sakes, leave me alone.
Oh my God. Oh. It's so
we thought he was
bad.
because he comes to the door and he's like he looks like an insane person, but he's doing this gruff voice, and we're like, is that him trying to? Because he's like, my wife is sleeping upstairs, and we're like, is that him trying to whisper?
Yeah.
But he talks like that through the whole movie, so I guess not.
I don't know. You almost imagine he assumed it was like a pirate movie because he was wearing an eye patch.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what's strange? James Doohan in this, He just made me realize how good Cameron Mitchell is when he phones in his scenes.
That's what I want to mention in relation to talking about like the Italian movies too. Is a lot of them will have like for a couple of scenes they'll have like John Saxon or like Cameron Mitchell, and then so this is this movie's version of that, where you cast the name celebrity in a small part because it should be Cameron Mitchell really.
Or you could see it as James, like this movie shows just how good James Doohan is at being Scotty.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Miles away.
Well, you know what? James Doohan did not give a shit.
Just that hard cut to him looking miserable.
Rich, you guys have the same shirt.
I'm not saying that James Doohan is a terrible actor. I'm saying in this, he did not give a shit.
I think he's trying, but he's just really bad.
The whole thing made me afraid. Me, afraid.
He was just really tired.
There's like certain times where he's kind of going for it, but he just doesn't have the talent.
Yeah?
Like, I don't think he's good.
You don't think he just didn't like glance down at the lines 5 minutes before they shot?
Yeah.
And it's like, ah.
He does spend most of the movie in a chair, and that's clearly a sign that he doesn't give a shit.
But yeah, so he's a gruff old crabby man.
And he plays a character that's a gruff old crabby man.
But this led to the great debate during the screening of this film. We have a movie that is a murder mystery, and we have 3 characters.
There's no red herrings because there's no other characters.
2 of our characters appear to be the protagonists.
True. Right.
So who is the killer?
Until we're introduced to the woman who owns the costume shop.
Yeah, well, that's jumping ahead quite a bit.
Oh,
I guess
sorry.
that's okay because nothing else happens in the movie. But yeah, an hour into the movie, we meet, because he goes to the costume shop to see if they have the mask that the killer is wearing.
Well, do they know it's a mask? The clairvoyant?
Sees
the clairvoyant, the psychic, can see the final thing that the murder victim sees.
Right. She's looking through dead eyes.
The dead bodies that our hero forces her to touch.
Oh God!
So they
more than once.
Completely,
That's
totally
true.
against her will.
That's a really good point. Yeah. And then she starts doing the
Oh, her overacting.
yeah, she's like and and
She overacts being distressed and traumatized, and then our detective overacts being an asshole.
Yeah.
Which really makes this an uncomfortable movie to watch.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
Please stop it.
You scream, I'll gag you. What the hell's she gonna say about that, huh?
Stop
True. There's that quality of the clairvoyant actress when there's a knock at the door and she opens the door and she looks right at the person who's arrived at the door, and then the rest of the scene she's like,
Yeah. At a certain point in the scene, I think you can see the moment she realizes, oh, I'm supposed to be blind, and she looks away. But yeah, like because her character is kind of under distress until she falls in love with him for no reason, but it comes across almost like she's being forced to act in this movie against her will.
Yeah.
Our psychic, she has 2 clearly defined powers. She can see the last images of a dead body.
If she touches it.
Or if somebody's about to die, she sees what they look like when they
see their death mask.
She can see their death
it.
mask.
Yeah.
The twist. It leads to the twist of the movie, because whenever she touches Detective, the reason she falls in love with him is because she sees that they're cuddling.
Yeah, they're together.
They're together and they're peaceful. Oh, this will work out nicely. Completely forgetting how her own psychic powers work. Like you can see the twist of this movie coming a mile away.
But every time
it's such a dark ending, you just assume they won't go there, because what screenwriter in his right mind would kill off our really sympathetic, distressed psychic character?
she may be clairvoyant, but I don't know how bright she is, because when she does see like the death masks, or sorry, them cuddling, they're cuddling in like dark dead soil.
Yeah, they're on soil. They're just lying.
Everything's gonna work out just fine.
They're lying on the ground.
Here's our peaceful future.
Maybe we're gonna live on a farm or something.
Yeah, we're camping.
In a suit and fancy dress.
Yeah.
So the only reason she falls in love with him is because she has visions of them being happy together, but she's really just seeing their dead bodies.
Yes.
With a mixture of Stockholm syndrome.
Right.
Yeah.
So then the detective visits the costume store, and like we mentioned, this is the first time we see this old lady, and she just happens to have the exact murder mask.
Who do you want to be? A warlock? Or how about the Tin Man? Yes, you'd make a fine Tin Man. Or a detective? Yes, a Detective Sam Spade. A secret agent, perhaps.
I am a detective.
That's the director's wife. That's the only excuse for this.
Thing. I've been dressing people up for so many
This nonsense.
If they were to do a reboot of this, I would cast Tilda Swinton in her role. As the Alpha Boss.
You could cast Tilda Swinton in every role. It's
In
like
this-
Suspiria.
in this movie?
She'd be
She's
James
so good?
Doohan. Yeah,
That's true.
That's right.
She played an old man in
That's true.
Suspiria. She could do it. I'd watch an all Tilda Swinton version of Through Dead Eyes.
She has to watch like years and years of Star Trek to get down the character.
She's wearing a green sock on one of her fingers so they can digitally remove it.
No, she actually enlists in the military and goes to war and loses one of her fingers in battle.
There's a nice cute touch when they go into the costume store, and the first thing you see on the wall on the right-hand side when they go in are completely inaccurate Star Trek uniforms.
I think that was, I don't even think that was an Easter egg. I think those were probably just there.
Is there a William Shatner mask, or was that a joke?
Star Trek.
I missed it.
Yes.
What if they have the Mike Myers mask?
Oh.
I bet you James Doohan was just like, I don't want a fucking Shatner mask in that store.
But he wanted the
He wasn't on
Starfleet
set when they
uniforms?
filmed that.
That's
He was
true.
on set for one day.
It was probably
No, it
living
wasn't
room.
his set. It was his living room.
Yeah, that's true.
We have some, yes.
It's an eye patch.
Very popular.
It's more like the Toxic Avenger with an eye patch on.
She did it. And she seems odd and off, and she's probably the killer.
Well, it turns out she's the killer, and she's also James Doohan's wife.
It is her.
Oh, God.
She's the costume star.
Oh my god.
Yikes.
Oh my god. Oh god. Anytime my character talks about their wife and for multiple scenes you don't
never
see her.
I think he's just embarrassed to talk about his wife because she works in a costume store.
And also she's a murderer.
This is how
And she's embarrassed to talk about him because she's
James-
married to
James
Star Trek Scotty.
That's terrible.
Look, she's lording it over Walter Koenig's wife.
Did she have any family? Family? Would family let a girl paint her face like an Indian? Would family let a young and attractive girl wear jeans so tight? That's the problem. There are no restraints. No one holds back.
This is amazing.
Are you his girlfriend?
Are you a slut?
The slut strangler.
I guess you'll have to take my word.
She looks like it's like Dana Carvey in The Master of Disguise as the turtle.
Yeah.
Turtle.
But then, yeah, that's when we discover she's the killer and she's wearing the stupid mask, and
Yeah.
it's comical once she puts it on.
Yeah, and then she uses her Darth Vader hands and
Yeah,
chokes,
she's
chokes the
unnaturally-
clairvoyant to death.
Right here. Toxic Avenger is shaking me.
It's not explained at all. She's unnaturally strong, and at one point the detective breaks in or comes into his and she throws him across the room into the wall.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, where does she get the strength from?
Who'd have thought this movie would end with a healthy young man struggling to feed up James Doohan's elderly wife?
Oh, hit her in the fridge. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh.
Hit her with a Lipton tea bag.
Drown her in the sink.
Yeah.
But the psychic says, "No, wait, stop! I don't see her death mask. She isn't allowed to die.
She's not going to die, I guess.
Right.
Even if you continue to drown her?
So she only sees the death of,
The two of them.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and she's at the she's burying two bodies in the daytime.
In the cemetery.
And every time it cuts to them, it's like clearly night with like bad lighting. like,
Did there just happen to be like a freshly dug grave? Like there's a headstone.
It was in the dream too. The tombstone is aged beyond belief. It looks like it's been there for 100 years.
Maybe she dug up a previous corpse.
Maybe she dug up her own corpse.
What?
There's a tombstone there that's clearly like
been there for a while. She's dug up
hundreds
a
of
grave.
years, and there's like a new hole, like a new grave dug.
She probably just tossed it somewhere.
Broad daylight.
Out the window of a moving car.
Broad daylight.
The previous body is directly under them.
Hey.
She didn't dig all the way.
There you go. Okay. You fixed the plot.
There you go. So it's like,
this movie is flawless when you think about it.
They've thought of everything.
so the grave she dug is 4 feet under. And after she's done her cemetery duties, she arrives back home.
This is the exciting moment with James Doohan has the gun, which is on the back of the box.
You swore to me. I protected you, and you swore you'd stop.
They were in love.
What about the others? Were they in love?
They would have been. They would have been in love.
God. And this acting scene between the two of them is they're really.
It's a combination of somebody overacting and somebody just wanting to nap.
Loved you.
Like who said it should have been a John Waters movie?
Yeah, her performance in that scene is I think Mike mentioned that. It's like something right out of a John Waters film. It's beautiful.
Our love is a perfect thing. A perfect thing in the eyes of God. Those others were sinners, and they've been cleansed. We are a perfect thing in God's eyes. In my eyes.
Go home to your mother. Doesn't she ever watch you? Tell her this isn't some communist daycare center.
It's camp. Pure camp.
It becomes pure camp. Most of the movie is kind of dull. Like, it's not horrible. It's dull and it's stupid. But her performance in that scene really pushes it over
Like
the
it
edge.
should have been a creep show bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. This whole story should have been a shorter creep show bit.
So.
Maybe she shouldn't have wore those glasses. or married James Doohan. Beam me up. Breen.
Like we've just spent like an hour and a half discussing the first two movies.
Oh no!
And we're gonna trim the fuck out of that because we're gonna talk about Neil Breen now.
I don't know if there's as much to talk about with this movie as there has been in the past. This is almost like, okay, now we get it a little bit.
It's probably the most coherent Neil Breen movie we've ever gotten. You know what?
Is that sarcasm?
I vaguely know what happened in this movie.
Yeah.
He's blossoming as a storyteller, Neil Breen.
Yeah.
What the fuck are you talking about?
I'm saying this movie, Neil Breen is becoming the best storyteller that Neil Breen can be.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's fair. Yeah.
I think Neil Breen's brain needs to be donated to science.
Yeah, they need to study him.
While he's still alive.
Yeah, for sure.
I was only saying what every 48 seconds.
Yeah. it's
AI will reach a level of self-awareness, and able to consider complicated thoughts and have sensations. The final human invention, AI, artificial intelligence.
Thank you for clearing that up.
You know, they say like films are kind of like a look into the filmmaker's mind in some respect. And you just look into this, it's just madness.
Yeah.
Like you could go mad, you could drive yourself crazy looking for answers.
The force's advancements in AI far surpassed anything on Earth. It was approaching a robotic, humanoid state. Synthetic brain power.
I have no brain power.
Well, Twisted Pair is a movie about Cale and Cade, two twins.
Kato Kalen? What?
Cale and Cade.
Okay.
Two brothers who I think were abducted by aliens and turned into some kind of AI human hybrid.
I knew it was you. Cale. Why haven't you contacted me?
That beer is amazing.
It's pretty good.
Which I don't even, right off the bat, I don't understand that. How are they AI? They're still humans.
Well, this is some alien intelligence AI.
I don't
thing
think
that-
he understands what AI is.
No, he doesn't. The aliens, the aliens took him and his twin brother, who was also him,
right,
when they were young, and like turned them into super AIs, but they're also still human. So they're humanoid.
Yeah, he refers to himself as humanoid.
Even though a humanoid is something that resembles a human being.
Well, that describes Neil Breen. Did you see his hair?
Yeah.
That is not human hair.
No, that's gorilla hybrid humanoid.
They transplanted. That's something they didn't mention in the movie. Is that the aliens transplanted gorilla hair onto his head?
It's dry straw.
Here's the interesting thing about this movie.
The best part is the best performance in the movie is his hair in the scene where the wind is blowing.
It's so tense because you don't know if the hair is going to blow off his head or not.
Yeah. It can't take it.
It's just, oh God, the hair is just struggling to stay on his head.
It's gonna blow down the street like a newspaper.
The movie's called Twisted Pair. I always imagine like if you're gonna, oh, that person's really twisted. It's like they go strangling cats or something at night. That's an example.
That's Neil Breen's autobiography.
No, but that's like an example of someone that's twisted. But in this movie, they're both just kind of boring assholes. They're just boring. Like, what is this guy doing? He's going to community college every night and wandering around
and sneaking around.
In the context of the movie, it's not a community college, though.
No, in my context,
in the context of the movie, it's a restaurant. It's a government building.
It's an alleyway.
It's an alleyway, and it's all just on that same front step area.
It's a universe that is entirely comprised of abandoned community college campuses. It's the entire universe this movie takes place in.
Okay.
Because at one point they show the background and there's two fucking moons.
You are so incredibly brilliant. You mean the world to me.
What planet is this on?
It's like the end of Mandy.
Yeah, it's really weird. Except that's in the middle of the movie.
Yeah.
And it's just
that one shot. It's never commented on again.
Discussed.
Maybe it's like a metaphor for Twisted Pair.
I mean, that is, the parallel. And I will say, this is his most Lynchian film.
Oh my God.
There's lots of like surreal, like there's the part with, what's the...
I think David Lynch would say no.
I'll be right here.
Bullshit. Total fucking bullshit.
What what's the villain's name that changes actors at one point? Coos.
Right.
But he goes to Coos' house and it's like a mansion.
Coos is very Lynchian, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, all that stuff where it's like there's a woman
changing
wearing butterfly wings or something.
And he has this like artificially lowered voice.
They fuck with his voice. That all feels very
And he's
like...
constantly touching his diamond.
Ah, so you come highly recommended. So you're interested in my special art.
The camera's
Are we
on.
rolling?
Yeah, we're rolling, Neil. Mr. Breen, we're rolling.
Yes, I'm interested.
He's got a bowl
He's
of
constantly petting his diamonds. He's not even just like stroking them. It's not
costume jewelry.
Yeah, he has a bowl of
Plastic garbage
diamonds
dollar store diamonds
that he carries around with him everywhere.
Kuz's empire is planning the takeover of the Earth.
It's like
And then he also has 3 sentient ceramic cats.
That's right.
Yes. Yeah, so that, and then also the idea that there's the doppelganger thing. That's a repeated thing in David Lynch's stuff.
Yeah. There's something weird about those cats because they keep rotating.
They keep changing
And you know
like
that-
configurations.
It reminds me, I just wonder if Neil Breen like heard about that thing that happened in that museum. I think it was in Britain or something. And there was this, I don't know if it was a cat statue, but there was a statue. And security cameras would capture it rotating occasionally.
Ooh. That's
and then they
creepy.
come in the next day and they'd see it like rotated like 90 degrees or something.
Was Neil Breen behind it?
No, it turned out it was like construction or something outside. But
Oh,
I
just
almost wonder if
vibrations
that's
of
where he got the idea.
And
But
Zach Baggins
Yeah.
came in and did a show on it.
They edited out the construction noise across the street.
Big jackhammers.
It's like for Neil Breen's next movie. I wonder if those cats are on eBay right now.
Oh, crowdfunding.
But there is the dual sort of thing going on with the two brothers.
Who am I? What am I? What's happened to us?
And then you have the two brothers sort of, love scenes. And
Well, they have parallel lives.
they have parallel lives
Yeah.
and they have parallel love interests. And the first one is him or following a woman to her house.
This is really creepy.
Well, he bumps into her in front of the homeless man and his rubber rats.
Yeah, that would be great.
No.
Yeah.
Those are fake rubber rats.
Wait, what?
The rubber rats.
Rubber rats next to the
It's supposed to look like a filthy alley.
Yeah, the
so
scene
he put
called for a
rubber
dark
rats.
alley.
That's his friends. That's the homeless man's friends.
Oh, Jesus. Excuse me. I'm so sorry. I apologize.
It's okay, I got it.
No. Here, let me get that for you.
Hey, shoot.
Wait,
I'm
it's my
starving.
fault. It's
No,
my
no.
fault, really.
Give me my
I
papers.
apologize.
Just leave me alone.
Let me make
Leave
it
me
up
alone.
to you.
No.
He acts like he
Well,
just
that's
met
the
her,
point.
and he's being a real fucking creeper
Yeah.
who won't leave her alone.
He's like, no, hey, you want to go out for a drink? And she's like, leave me alone, you creep, whatever. And then she walks home and he starts following her.
I'm gonna hurt you now. You're mine now. I'll teach you to ignore me. You were supposed to meet me at 8. Bitch. You can't fight me.
Why is that painting there?
This looks like a scene from Three's Company.
Bitch.
Is this real? Is this really happening?
It turns out it's just a game they were playing.
But then it gets even worse. He kind
Yeah,
of
but
attacks her.
before that, yeah, he like he attacks her and she smashes like a painting over his head.
How often do they role play, and how many paintings has she broken over his head?
Maybe he called her beforehand and said, did you make that painting out of balsa wood and painting frame and because I want you to hit me over the head with it. And then I'm gonna call you bitch 3 times.
Bitch. Bitch. Bitch.
But you don't know.
Is it
because
part of the appeal that they have to pretend to not know each other in front of homeless people?
I guess.
Is that a part of it?
Yeah,
Who knows?
and in front of rubber rats.
Rubber rats. So it's these 2 rubber rats by the homeless guy, and we don't know, is the homeless guy crazy and just has these rubber rats, or is Neil Breen using them as props?
Thinks they're supposed to be.
They're
this is
pretending that they're supposed to be real
In his
rats.
mind, that scene is like a filthy alleyway.
Right.
That's the idea.
But
That's
it's
how
a very clean community college
But
campus.
it's the front steps of the community college where the entire fucking movie is filmed.
The very new community college they just built last year, and it's pristine.
Yeah.
Here's the money I got from the hit.
Give me the package.
That's our damn money.
Get away from me. Oh,
This is for both of us.
gosh.
Was he trying to do some weird contrast with his evil side?
Well, we get that contrast because we get a really similar scene with Cade.
Kale.
And they're like passing out
Kill
drugs
like
and
what a
stuff
vegetarian would eat, which makes it evil.
But they have like a weird fight scene, but it's real because they're both strung out on drugs apparently.
What the hell are you doing?
I don't even want you anymore. All I want is the drugs and the money.
That's here. Straighten up. We're both fucked up.
I don't care. I don't want you
And like he pushes her off the bed. This comic slapstick like roll
Well, he
off the
smacks
bed.
her, and then she just kind of awkwardly rolls off the bed.
Yeah.
But he tries to smack her and then catches some of the wine bottles.
I'm wondering if you actually hear the sound effect, but when she smacks him, she just like catches his hoodie.
But this is like his version of what like an alcoholic, drug-addicted couple relationship would be like.
They just have tons of bottles and pills, like
Lots of
alcohol
wine.
bottles, and it's like a student film or something. That scene.
It's like
in every aspect of like whether it's that or other acting aspect. Neil Breen just seems to be like constantly impersonating a human being, as opposed to representing a human being.
Yeah.
I trust you completely.
It's like he doesn't know how to impersonate a human being. It's just
Well,
like,
that's because he's above human beings. That's the running thing through all of his movies is that he's
true.
here to teach us
I'm
evil
the
ways.
weapon. I am the weapon.
Yeah, I'm the best that's ever existed.
He's got a messiah complex.
Yeah, I mean that's every one of his movies.
Yeah.
But that's what the weird thing about this is like, is he starting to be conflicted about that? And that's why he developed this other character. The only one that can take down Neil Breen is another Neil Breen.
Well, I'd say that because I thought they were going to have a fight at the end. They never have a fight. What's going on here is like, it's actually kind of interesting, really, because Double Down, he's just the badass.
Yeah.
It's fantasy Neil Breen. And then you get like 2 Pass-Through, the last one we watched.
Yeah.
And he still thinks very highly of himself, but like the crazy has started to creep in.
I've eliminated 300 million humans from the planet today. In human terms, I have killed them all. These were humans that were harmful to other humans.
He takes a dark turn in that movie where he just comes across as a guy who wants to see the world burn.
Right. Yeah.
And in here, in Twisted Pair, it's like he started to become self-aware of that.
Yeah.
And so he took all of the negative aspects of his own personality that he's developing. And it's like, that's just a separate character
He's
now.
trying to like exercise it.
He's trying. It's like he's trying to exercise his crazier thoughts.
It's like Superman 3, where he has like the evil version.
He's not self-aware as a filmmaker.
No.
Yeah.
But it's like he's becoming self-aware that he's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, he does have the Messiah complex, but in Pass-Through as well as this movie, he also has apparently a real connection to animals.
While developing further and further in a humanoid state over the years. Never
Is he supposed to be petting
Yes,
it?
look, he's nuzzling.
He's supposed to be
He's
there.
touching the stump.
He's nuzzling it.
because he's petting the stuff.
But not enough of one to actually be there with the animal.
Yeah,
It's just badly green
I
screen.
think more than that, he has a connection to green screen.
Yeah, he has a bit.
Good morning. Have a nice day.
He uses a lot of stock footage that he kind of integrates himself into.
A lot. I mean, that was what stood out to me the most in this movie. Is it's like he just discovered Shutterstock.com.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like he just discovered that stock footage is a thing that exists.
Yeah, like the army guys, where he's like,
Oh,
go
yeah.
that way.
Which has nothing to do with the rest of the movie. I guess it's just to establish that he is like a savior.
Follow me. They can't hurt me. You won't get hurt. Follow me.
He has to be self-aware at this point, right?
That is a question that we all cannot answer.
This is too much. He's overplayed his hand.
No.
Rich, you underestimate crazy.
I don't believe it. I don't believe it.
Whoa! Well, he's the super badass made by the aliens to be super badass, and then he works with some kind of agency that he may or may not be the head of, and the aliens may or may not be a head of, to fight all of the evil in the world.
Yeah,
which his brother was also created to fight all of the evil in the world, but didn't do it quite so good.
And then had his powers removed, and then became an
But his
alcoholic
brother,
drug addict.
even though isn't good at fighting evil, still fights evil by kidnapping corporate guys who are very just blunt and honest about the evil things they do.
Oh, I knew this was going to come back to bite it.
The stolen cars.
Millions embezzled from charities.
All the politicians we've been paying off.
Oh, we've been paying politicians off for years.
I was getting Pass-Through flashbacks at that part.
Yeah. And then their corpses multiply.
I think that's just supposed to be other people that he's killed.
We think.
But he just copy pasted the same 3 people over and over.
Speaking about pasted, there's a lot of like phony mustache.
Yeah. I mean, man, and you can see the spirit gum kind of bleeding through.
Well, that's what I was saying. It looks like Scotch tape.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and it's like
it's
the
very
light
shiny.
is constantly shining off it, and there's 2 characters that have the
Oh
same
wait,
mustache.
Mike's not here. It's like Spock.
Oh.
in the mirror universe.
Well, that's the creepy part is you have the other guy, the businessman or whatever with the fake mustache.
Yeah.
And then later we have another character played by the same actor from that scene.
Yeah.
He plays another character later in the movie, and he's wearing clearly that same mustache, which means like they just reused that same disgusting mustache. Like, ew.
He's a master of reusing everything he can.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say, Neil Breen doesn't cut out anything. He just reuses stuff to get the movie longer.
Dialogue, scenes, shots.
Eagles.
Everything he can.
We use the special effects over and over too, like the jump. Even when he's falling down, he jumps up.
And see. So you go back to bed?
Immediately.
Okay.
This is
And sleep now.
This is how humans go back to bed.
Well, they just collapse.
Oh yeah, that's a great moment where it's like Neil Breen didn't know that. Like it's like he doesn't even understand what sleep is because he doesn't. It's not like, oh, I woke up, I'm startled, I'm gonna go back to sleep. It's like he has narcolepsy and he just passes out. It's just like boom.
It's like somebody switched his power off.
Sleep now.
Do you remember when, like, I don't know, it was like Microsoft or Google, like they tried to have like the chat bot they tried to teach to communicate with people? No, is that Neil Breen?
They should vocalize the little Clippy guy with Neil Breen's voice. It looks like you're having trouble here.
Oh man.
What do you want? How can I help you?
What if you could do like text to speech, but you could get it in like Neil Breen. You could get an article like read to you in Neil Breen's voice.
It'd be great if there was like a novelization of Twisted Pair. I would buy that and read it just to like.
It's just literally you just randomly bang on a keyboard.
No, it's like
it's just separate words. Technology.
Yeah.
Artificial intelligence.
No, the novelization to
Cyborg warfare. Is that a thing?
Biological DNA.
Biological cybernetic warfare. What does he say?
I bought the novelization of Twisted Pair. It just says, all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy.
Over and over.
It goes on for like 700 pages.
you would find the novelization of Twisted Pair on Amazon, be like buy it right away, and you open it up and it's all lorem ipsum. Anyone? No? Fuck!
I'm ending this.
Where am
He's just
I?
sped up.
How
He just
am
sped it
I?
up. Look at all the. These are just shots that he already had that he's just using again.
Why are my students dropping out?
is served.
It is.
He stopped the cyber war.
Oh God.
Woo! Here he goes.
That actually looked good.
Oh.
Yeah, the hair was. It's
They
like
blurred the hair. I mean, it looks like
It was something.
motion blurs.
fucking scraggly hair was flying in the wind.
Not my community college.
Kate
What?
Altair. Kate Altair.
Oh, thank Christ! So returned. I can't see. I can't wait to see more adventures of Cade.
We didn't understand what happened, but like, we're so excited.
He didn't have enough material for one movie, but he's coming back for another.
Brad Stein played Detective.
He did it twice. He copy pasted.
Astro Eagle is Eagle. Detective.
Actually, the
Astro
eagle gets a credit.
Eagle.
Astro Eagle.
The eagle. Eagle played by Eagle.
Astro gets a credit before Coos does.
Oh my God.
How does an eagle get a credit from Star Wars?
It's in his contract.
The name is Eagle.
Well, that's a good thing. So, or is it a good thing? What is it? The story of Cade returns? Or?
I guess he fell in love with this character that he created for himself because he wants to have him return.
Hey, we all fell in love with him.
I just hope.
Who wasn't heartbroken when he had to murder his girlfriend?
Oh yeah, right.
Did that happen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they shot each other.
It was only business.
What?
Had to do it.
Right. That's like Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah.
Bitch.
Good thing this lazy boy's here.
Yeah, I was gonna say you should pull from our camera another.
Let me
frame
die on
painting.
the chair, bitch. Bitch.
But it's already been established that he's like a super Breen, and that
Did you say a super being or a super breeing?
super being.
Super Breen?
Clearly he's a super breed.
But he can't be killed, so she tries to shoot him.
Yeah, but a sequel could be good. What, you know,
We have so many unanswered questions.
if Neil Breen's watching, I just hope that you film it at Nevada State College again. No, I hope the sequel is like full of like the classrooms are full of students. Just like, who is this guy and what is he doing? It's like him doing a lecture about making blockbusters.
Except he wasn't scheduled to make a lecture. He just walks into the room and starts talking.
Everyone's very confused.
Who wants to work on film? Why do you want to work on film?
Everyone has the right to be loved. Everyone has the right to love and peace. I'll be right here.
Bullshit.
Well, this is the point of the night where we pick a best of the worst. Colin, what is best of the worst?
I've got to give it to Twisted Pair. I think that's just the most entertaining movie of the evening. Followed, I would say, by The Instructor.
Jim?
Well, these two movies have really bad artifact and quality. You know, they were shot a long time ago. The quality just isn't there. The quality isn't here either, but it's a newer movie, so it's easier to watch. These movies here are people acting badly. Neil Breen isn't acting badly. He's impersonating human beings, which is terrifying. So I'm going with Twisted Pair.
Rich?
Well, you know, there was some strong competition tonight. Some really, really solid competition. But, you know, Neil Breen is just at the top of his game. The man is untouchable. He's on a hot streak right now. Neil Breen is the Michael Jordan of bad cinema.
I know you're being sarcastic about it being competition, but I enjoyed all three of these movies.
I'm actually not being sarcastic. Like, we watched 3 quality, terrible movies.
Yeah, I think we were kind of bored through Dead Eyes, but
yeah,
I really enjoyed it. I mean, it's terrible, but it's like I could see the alternate universe version of that, where it's like a Dario Argento film and it works.
Yeah, for sure.
And then The Instructor is just the second half of that movie.
Amazing.
It's just insanity.
It's a crowd pleaser, as they say.
I think most other nights, Burt Pesci would have ran away with it.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Awkwardly ran away with
really
it.
fast.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, Twisted Pair, it's almost like you have to, like, Neil Breen is almost beyond best of the worst at this point.
Yeah, I was kind of saying,
it's like he's always going to win.
Yeah, we kind of saw that, and I'm thinking we could just have the discussion just about that movie.
Yeah. So if we were to take that out of the equation,
yeah,
I would probably go with Through Dead Eyes, but
I would say The Instructor.
Really?
Big time.
Yeah. I enjoyed Through Dead Eyes. Like I said, I can see what it could have been.
I would say Through Dead Eyes too, because the ending really was a twist.
Yeah.
Like if it was a more competent movie, that would just blow me away.
Like it was incredibly stupid, but we were engaged throughout, like trying to figure out the mystery. We were like,
it was
what is stupid enough for this movie? And it was stupider than that.
It's amazing that a shitty movie can still like hold you captive to like figure out the whodunit quality of it. And,
yeah.
I think everything else about the movie for me was just so dull.
Too boring.
Just dull.
Yeah.
And you've got two
that
really,
detective's terrible.
really unlikable protagonists. So
Well, if it's between the other two, it's a tight race. It really is. But Burt Pesci and that amazing chase scene wins out.
And The Instructor is like classic good bad movie stuff.
Nothing in this movie ever reaches the high.
No, I was just more genuinely engaged by like the story kind of Through Dead Eyes, but The Instructor is like
You didn't like the story of The Instructor?
I don't know what the fuck the story was, but I was entertained.
It's fascinating that you can have a mystery movie with one suspect and there's still a red herring.
The only red herrings were at the craft service table. And And James
Doohan was shoving them in a duffel bag
James
to take
Doohan,
home.
yeah, he ate them all.
Oh, poor James Doohan.
Where'd the red herrings go? James Doohan ate them all. James Doohan ate them all. It's a murder mystery. What do we do? What do we do?
Oh.